The museum was quiet. Too quiet. A young visitor walked slowly through the hall, passing portraits of writers whose names sounded heavy, almost intimidating. Then the visitor stopped. A man stared back from the frame, sharp eyes, tired face, a beard that looked like it had carried too many thoughts. The name below the portrait read, Fyodor Mikhailovich Dostoyevsky. Suddenly the air felt different. "You're wondering why I look like I've seen hell," a voice said. The visitor froze. The lips in the portrait moved. "Come closer," Dostoevsky said. "My life was not written in comfort. It was written in pain." "I was born in 1821 in Moscow," the portrait continued. "My father was a strict military doctor. Some say he was cruel. Some say he was broken by life. But I will tell you this, fear lived in our house. My father wanted control. I wanted freedom. I wanted to understand the human soul." The visitor listened as the museum walls seemed to fade. "I was sent to military engineering school in St. Petersburg," Dostoevsky said. "I hated it. Numbers, rules, discipline, but no heart. So at night, while others slept, I read. I wrote. I suffered. One day," he said, lowering his voice, "I was arrested." The visitor's breath caught. "I was accused of reading forbidden books, of thinking freely. I was sentenced to death." Silence. They took us to the square. We stood before the firing squad. I felt the cold air. I thought of life, how precious it was. And then, at the last second, the sentence was changed. The portrait's eyes burned. That moment killed the old me. I was sent to Siberia, prison, chains, hunger, criminals, murderers. But do you know what I learned there? The visitor shook their head. That even the worst human being still wants to be forgiven. When I returned, Dostoevsky continued, I was poor, sick, broken. I had epilepsy. Seizures would take me without warning. And yes, he added bitterly, I was a gambler. The visitor raised an eyebrow. I lost money again and again. Roulette tables owned me. I wrote just to pay my debts. My father had already died, but life itself rejected me. Publishers doubted me. Society laughed at me. Once, everything seemed lost. But sometimes, the portrait whispered, the deepest flaws open the door to greatness. That is when my real work began. I did not write poems, he said, almost smiling. I wrote human souls. Crime and punishment, about guilt and conscience. The idiot, about purity in a corrupted world. Notes from underground, about a man who destroys himself with his own thoughts. And the brothers Karamazov. The portrait paused. That book was my confession. Faith, doubt, God, freedom, responsibility. I wrote about people you recognize, because they live inside you. The visitor felt uneasy. You see, Dostoevsky said, I believed that suffering is not meaningless. It breaks you, or it reveals you. My life was chaos, but from that chaos came clarity. I was refused, humiliated, addicted, sick. And yet, my pain became literature. The portrait leaned forward. So remember this, he said softly. If your life feels broken, if you feel rejected, if you are losing control, that does not mean the story is over. Sometimes, Dostoevsky whispered, it means the story is just becoming honest. The voice faded. The museum returned to silence. The visitor stepped back, heart racing. The portrait was still again. But something had changed. Not the painting. The person standing in front of it.